This is it. We're doing it. This is episode 415 of No Laugh Track Podcast. I'm Justin Severson, the host, and I am here with a two-time guest, a two-timer. I just came up with that.
Now that makes me sound like I cheat on my spouse, which I do.
Gareth Reynolds is here, a known two-timer.
Thank you. Yep. Yes, thank you. And I heard someone close a book, which felt like a clap. So it's nice. It's a warm room.
And cut. I think that's what that was. It was an end scene, actually.
Oh, gosh. Oh, the sticks. Yeah.
Yes. It's been, so I wrote it down because I also listened back, of course, like I always do, to last time you were here. It was episode 346.
Wow.
We're at 415 today, August 1st, 2019, Gareth.
We were so young.
I mean,
we had no clue what was coming.
That's for sure.
We were.
Boy, I mean, that is an understatement.
Yeah.
Here's a funny thing that, so here's a couple things that stand out, because I did listen back to it. You said during that recording that you were about to record your album less than a month from now in Madison, Wisconsin. That is now available to everyone to purchase, listen to, etc., etc.
Yep. Riddled with Disease on all your platforms.
It's fantastic. I listened to it again just this week in
Thank
preparation
you,
of you
Justin.
coming here. It's so good.
Thank you.
It is absolutely so good. And then the other thing that I'd like to point out is you said during that podcast, there will be times where you take 3 weeks off and you can be a little rusty.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a jerk off. Yeah, I know, but that was like the thinking. I mean, it really was. I mean, right then I was like in the zone, going every weekend. But, you really didn't. Even after I recorded it, I pretty quickly was right back at it. I mean, that's just kind of what you do.
Yeah.
And then, I remember my last weekend in Sunnyvale, California, at Rooster Teeth Feathers, and it just was like the feeling was that this was going to be over for a while, and then, man, it just was crazy. Yeah, 3 weeks seems like nothing. That seems regular now. You know?
No shit.
But yeah, no, crazy. So spoiled.
So right before we started recording here, you were having a little chat with Lewis Lee, the owner here, and you said that this is last night's first time, right?
Yeah,
in a
that's
while?
my first show back since it all started. Yeah, which was crazy. I mean,
how do you think it went?
I think it went well. I mean, I might be biased because I have not heard laughter in so long. So even just hearing like a modicum of laughter was plenty to me. But no, I mean, you definitely take so many things for granted, and being able to come back and do a show, you just do. I mean, obviously, because right now it's at half capacity. That is just plenty. I mean, going from where I have been, like kind of just doing shows in my apartment, yelling to nobody that is around me, to be able to actually be around people and, do crowd work. And I mean, it just is like, I'm very, very thankful. And it was very great, very fun.
Are you saying, so like, there's a big announcement that Acme made this week that starting, the 28th, next week, full capacity in this room. So let's say things were switched up and Michael Palisak, who's going to be here next week, is here this week, you next week.
Yeah.
Would you have asked, like, could you keep it just one more week?
Well, what's nice is I wouldn't have. But what's nice is that you're like, you have a Wednesday night where you have like 80 people. It's like almost sold it out. Really close to selling it out. So it helps your, it's like a nice curve to make you feel more popular than you are. You're like, there's barely a seat available in this club that's only can be quarter full legally. Yeah.
I bet if we did, how you can search terms on social media. I bet the amount of sold outs in 2020. We're peaking.
Well, as we know, there were a lot of comics who never stopped being on the road, and they were selling out a lot, and I was like, it's a good feeling, but you're gonna come back down to earth when, you can fill them up again.
I've sold out 35 consecutive shows.
Yeah, that's over 150 tickets in a weekend, gentlemen. So let the big dick swing.
Next stop, theaters.
Yeah, right.
I mean, 10th capacity, but theaters.
Yeah, the lower tier, front 8 rows, sold it out. It's over 46 individuals. Okay? 2 meet and greets. I'm on top of the world.
How did your, when things started shutting down last year, How you had to cancel a bunch of stuff, I assume, and how did you stay busy?
Yeah, I mean, I canceled everything, and I was sort of telling Lewis about this before. Like, it was one of the first years where I just had so much booked for so long. So it was daunting. I remember, like, I was saying to my manager how I needed a weekend off in June, and that was like my first weekend off that year. And, and then that weekend rolled around. And I was like, well, this weekend has been 4 months at this point. But yeah, I was able to still write on some shows.
Where were you staying?
What's that?
Where were you staying?
In Los Angeles.
Yep.
And I was able to write on some shows, and then I started doing like an improvised stand-up show from my home every week, where people would like send in suggestions, and I would just like riff on things. And I did that. It was kind of like the illusion of busy. It's like, what the vice president does probably. It's just like a lot of like, I would just, I would be like, well, it's almost lunch, so this day's about to get crazy. Gonna have to cook a thing, so that's gonna be pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, it was, I think honestly, I just kind of leaned in and was like, this is a crazy time, and hopefully things get back to normal-ish. And so I telepathically can now communicate with my cat, which is good. That finally has happened.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I really, there was a difference. So I could only do so much.
Ian Bagg was here last week, and he was talking about how, when it first hit, he started doing that Around the Bag podcast that he's doing 7 days a week.
Oh my God, yeah.
Thinking it's just going to be a few months.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I cannot imagine doing that. I mean, that's too much. But a lot of people did. I mean, I think there was a lot of good, in some ways there's a lot of good that came out of it. I was able to write, I probably had about, I'd say 30 to 40 minutes that I felt pretty good about that was new. And
wow.
and then I was able, over the pandemic, just through doing a couple different ticketed live stand-up shows, write a ton of new material. And so now I feel like lucky in the sense that, I mean, I just have a lot of material I can work with right now, which, is it's a different way to start up, but it's better. I would rather have not had to do it this way, but now that I am able to, I'm like, I just have a ton of new jokes. So I
snuck in and caught the show last night.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Mm-hmm. That's right. And it's since Acme's been back open and people are coming back. It's not everyone is showing up with a lot of new material. Some didn't for various reasons.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones because people just weren't working or out there doing it. So when somebody shows up and I don't recognize really any of the material, I'm like, damn, well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
Especially because, like I told you, I just listened again to your album in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, that's part of my preparation for the podcast a lot of times. But sometimes I regret it because I listen to somebody's recording and then 2 days later see him live. I'm like, I already know 65% of this.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, the process is like you have this little grace period where, you can be doing some of the jokes from your album, but you're really trying to sneak in the new stuff.
Yeah, right.
And then, because of this, so I mean, everything I'm doing now is new. So it's like, and I have more. So it's great. I mean, it really is. And that's one of the reasons why I do love this club. I love the Wednesday night, Thursday night show combo. You get that extra night to just work your material and then come back another night, just one show, and just try it again. And then you're into the two shows each night over the weekend. But yeah, I mean, it feels good to not be doing like material that I am sick of. Like the stuff I'm doing, I am like excited to do. I want it to get better. And I already feel pretty good about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to bring up one thing. Obviously, I'm not bringing this up for you to like, oh, well, here's the joke I'm going to repeat for you right now. But
no, that's fine. We can Byron Allen it. Sure. Jump in. Gareth, I understand you can't drive stick shift. It's interesting, Justin. It's actually the third pedal's what gets me. I don't know about you guys.
It's interesting. Byron Allen, that show is the most stage set up fake interviews, but that guy's a freaking like multi-millionaire crazy businessman.
Yeah.
So like
owns it. Syndicated owned shows. Like, No, look, there's the Hollywood game is wrought with just oddities like Byron Allen, where you just are like, how? And you're just like, look, Byron Allen has fuck you money because he just came up with a show where he literally would just be like, you hate broccoli, right, John?
Gareth, you've been around white people.
I have once or twice. Didn't love it.
You got a story about that?
Yeah. I stabbed a white man. Is that what you're talking about? That's not a stand-up joke. That's a confession.
But what if he?
Oh, that would be
what
great.
What if he tweaked the show and was just actually getting confessions?
The cops infiltrate, okay, and they go to Byron. They're like, "Look, you can get people to say anything. We think this man murdered his wife." So then Byron's just like, okay, he's got a little wire. I don't know why he'd wear a wire. He's already mic'd, but he's got a second one on. The audio guy's like, Byron. He's like, shut the fuck up, Charlie.
They might be listening.
Yeah. And then he's just like, so, Robert, I understand you recently tried to kill your wife. And he's like, actually, I did, Byron. She was cheating on me with my Wait, what the hell? Sorry. Byron! I'm going to be leashed.
That will bring that show from 3 a.m. to prime time.
2:30. Without question.
Oh my God, that's funny. You mentioned something which I guess I didn't know. Time machines, are they still around, first of all, and then we'll say what that is.
I don't know if they're still around. I was just there last weekend, and I was kind of looking. I don't think they are. I think they maybe are have passed, probably because many people like me were like, this is not a good thing to call them.
Yeah. So the cash machines.
Yeah.
Were at one point called time machines.
Yeah, take your money everywhere. So the TYME, and you called them time machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a story about time machines and how I found out about them.
Oh, great. Okay.
Sort of reverse of yours, actually.
Well, so my joke. So to give the context, my joke is basically how you leave Wisconsin and then you don't even realize that other places don't call them time machines. So you just sound crazy. You're just going to people and you're like, "Hey, is there a time machine around here?" Yeah. Okay.
So I grew up in St. Paul.
Okay.
Where they were called ATMs, cash machines.
Sure, regular thing.
Yeah, the normal name.
The agreed upon term. Yeah.
The one that's in a dictionary, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Milwaukee. This is, let's say 20 years ago, probably.
Okay.
We were there to see some baseball games. After a game, we went to this neighborhood bar, my buddy and I.
Sure.
And some guy comes up to us, a local comes up to us, starts chatting us up.
Sure.
Then next he's like, hey, you guys smoke weed? Like, yeah, we smoke weed.
It's a good start. You're in Milwaukee for sure.
Yeah. He's like, do you guys have any? No. Oh, I can get you some. Like, oh, all right.
Okay.
Then it changes to, well, this is perfect because the guy's like, yeah, I'm about to go meet somebody to get, I don't remember what it was, like a pound or something. I'm about to get a pound of weed. I'm $300 short. So if you guys give me the $300, I'll give you, what was it, like a quarter ounce or something for $300 if you guys just help me out. And we're like, no, this is not
not how this works.
This is not what we're looking for. And he's like, come on, man, we'll just go to the time machine. And we're like, what is he? What?
Yeah.
The time machine?
This is weed from the 1860s, man.
It took us forever. He kept saying, time machine, man.
Yeah.
Time machine's right down the road. Time machine. We're like, time machine?
Ugh.
We didn't say that to him because he was sort of intimidating.
Well, it's like the premise of it all was madness before he started talking about time travel.
Right?
Yeah, it was already like, dude, you're shady as shit.
Yes.
Who gives you $300 when we just want a dime bag or something?
Yeah, we're going back home tomorrow. We're at the whole Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
We're leaving tomorrow morning.
Yeah. He's like, well, how about you just distribute drugs to the greater Midwest area? Is that what you're after? Because then you're a kingpin.
Yeah.
All right, look, let's just time travel together. And then we gotta iron this out. You're like, oh my lord.
So I have to say, we couldn't shake this guy. It was like, just get the $300, guys. Let's just go. Let's go. Come on, the guy's waiting. He's waiting. Let's go.
The guy's waiting.
Let's go. Let's go to the time machine. Get the $300.
Well, why don't you just go to the time machine and go back 20 minutes, and then you can keep having this debate without keeping the guy waiting.
Because he was gonna follow us there.
Oh,
he was not. This was he knew that we had access to money. He was not gonna let us go. It ended up he followed us. We went into the restroom of this bar to try to have a private conversation.
Sure.
And he followed us in there.
Cool. So this is a cool guy.
Yeah, at one point he said to me, "Why are you puffing your chest out at me?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? I think maybe I was like trying to be intimidating. Like maybe he'll leave us alone if we act tough.
What was the size what was the size of this man?
He was a little bit bigger than my buddy and I.
Okay.
And he also was telling us that he just got out of prison.
Okay. So I was wondering if there were any red flags, but there aren't. Clearly, this story's clean, and this dude checks out.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, it's a very good representation of what a Milwaukee man tries to be. A lunatic who intimidates, and once you want the drugs, he demands that you take over the project. And accuses people of puffing out their chest when they're not, which is it's perfect. But yeah, what a great way to find out about TYME Machine. Yeah. But that again, I mean, that is that's really what the joke is just like why do this to people? Why create this word gap between strangers? Like, this guy's already asking a tough thing, but then it does sound you just don't want to be dropping time travel into like regular conversations. No. You know what I mean? Like, yes. And they were just like, yeah, time travel, you know?
Does this have to do with his time? Like, did he lose track of time because of prison?
Dude, we got to go to a time machine. Yeah, it was crazy. It really was. And then when I was hitting, when I was falling back down to earth with realizing what they had done, I was like, this is like a war crime. What are they doing? Should be illegal. That's got to be why there aren't any that I saw the last time I was there.
Yeah.
Because
so I have to tell you, so we ended up, we didn't figure out TYME Machine until we saw one in person on our walk back.
But that's so lucky.
Yeah.
What if you didn't see that? You it would take this conversation before I'm like, it could have been an ATM.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
The odds are just not, yeah. I mean, a time machine. Someone signed off on it. Hey, don't you think it'll be strange if someone... Don't worry about it. It's a good name. Take your money everywhere. We can't change that. That's perfect. It's too good.
I should say that what happened with before my buddy and I walked back to the hotel, we gave the guy the $60 combined we had in our pockets just to leave us alone.
See, now that's a business.
Yeah.
That's a business model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We emptied our pockets.
People pay you to fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. Fucking Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing is, here's another funny part of it that I don't remember the name of the place, but it was a Grateful Dead bar.
Oh, see, and
like
here you are shitting on Milwaukee.
But what I'm thinking is should be the most laid-back, friendly place of people just like, yeah, far out, man, it's cool.
Yeah, but it turns out it's the Star Wars bar where people are going back in time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Puffing your chest out.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'll concave it. I'll concave it.
Concave, convex.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I think so. We'll move on from that. I know that you're still doing your podcast because I've been listening to it. The Dollop.
Yeah.
Released that one. You're still doing. You're still doing Point V Point.
Yeah, I did. We picked it back up again during the pandemic, and then we've just sort of dropped it because I've been gone a lot. It seems very strange, but people don't seem to mind as much when we just kind of dip in and out. So I'm not sure how much longer it'll go. We are doing one that we're going to release. We're pre-recording, which will be a point versus point true crime one. So we've been working on that, but so we'll eventually have that.
I have to compliment you. I went back and listened to the one. It was right after the insurrection at the Capitol.
Yeah,
and you. Yeah. Pretending that you're hiding in a closet.
No, I'm an event.
An event.
My character on the show was at the insurrection and got scared and went an event. And honestly, he still is in the vent.
I'm still here.
Yeah, he's been living in the vent for months on pepperoni and Mr. Pibb, and a rat bit his ear off.
And whacking it as much as possible.
Yeah, and trying to get more whack room. Yeah, and then Evan, the guy that I do it with, is like back at his place, and I'm like, you got to get me out of here. And he's like, you're an idiot. But yeah, I still live in the Capitol vent in the world of the show, so, without an ear.
Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah, it's great.
So another thing I want to bring up that I don't think existed when you were here last time is that there is now a Spanish version.
Yeah, there's the Mexican Dollop. Yeah, El Dollop. Yeah.
How and why? How?
It is actually, it started right after I was here because it was when I was taping my album. Two of my, Dave, the guy that I do the Dollop with, and another good friend of mine, Luke, flew out to Madison to watch me record the special, and the album, and so they surprised me, and then so it was the Saturday, so it was the last night, so I was done. So yeah, we went out and we had a good time, and I don't exactly. I'm not sure. I think Eduardo had like. I'm not 100%, but whatever it was, Dave met one of the guys at the show, and he was talking about how, and they already had a big following, the two guys who do it. They have a podcast called Los Legendarios or something, and they already had this pretty popular podcast, and Dave was mentioning it, that he wanted the Spanish version, and this guy was like, no, I have a big like Mexican podcast in Mexico, and then Dave just basically sends him the stories, and then he just translates them. So they're basically doing our catalog, and it's a top 10 podcast. El Dollop is huge there. Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome. We had them on. We had no guests throughout the pandemic except for them. We had them on for one episode, and yeah, I mean the guy Jose, the dude who is me on their version, is great. So
funny that his name is Jose.
I know, it's amazing. Yeah, I don't even think he knows how funny. I was like, I don't want to like. There's no need for me to be like. Also, weird twist. You're my cat.
Yeah, right.
But he, but no, they were. They are great, and the podcast is great, and their fans are great. I mean, I think to us, it's like, I mean, it really was Dave's idea, but I think the reason why like we're very into it is because more people should hear this shit, and that it's very valuable information that gets pumped out. And so, the more people who look at the U.S. as crazy, the better.
Yeah, for sure. So they're bilingual. They speak English and Spanish, correct?
Yes.
How about you?
Yep.
Yep. You too?
See, yeah.
Oh, see?
See. Yeah.
Mucho gusto. Yeah.
Yeah. Tons of it. Yeah, for sure. So much gusto.
That's. I mean, you got to be flattered that there's a Spanish I mean,
it's cool. It's cool.
So neat.
I think anytime that you have a thing that a good amount of people gravitate towards, it just becomes like really mind-bending in a number of ways, and then that's just one of them. Where
I suppose
where these guys are just like just doing our show to great success in Mexico.
Amazing. So you mentioned you were doing writing for a show.
Yeah.
Is that something?
Yeah, it's actually it just got announced what the show is. It's an Adult Swim show called Royal Crackers that I'm working on.
Okay.
With this guy, with my writing partner Evan Mann, and then this guy Jason Ruiz, who had it's just going to be a very funny show. And right now, Royal Crackers, yeah, on Adult Swim.
Okay.
So we worked on, it was a weird deal where we needed to write 6 scripts in order to get picked up. So we wrote those with him, and then now we're writing the last 4 with him. So
when will people see it, you think?
I do not know. I mean, that animation shit is like, you just say goodbye, you forget you did it, and then 2 years later they're like, hey, it's premiering. You're like, oh, right, yeah, we did that, So I would guess a year or so.
Sure. Will you do a voice?
I definitely am on one as a guest star. I don't know if I'll have a regular part in it, but
you do so many voices so well.
I know, but I just look. I mean, if someone hires me to write on their thing, I just respect that they are in charge, and if they go, hey, you do it, because when I pitch things, I will do voices, just by nature, and so I think sometimes that helps, but no, like I wrote on Hoops, which was a Netflix show, animated show, and I mean I had a few parts, but nothing big. The one that I will have on this is a pretty good part for one of the episodes. So
nice.
Yeah.
What other Adult Swim shows that you watch?
Well, Rick and Morty. I mean, that was one of those shows that I just eventually was like, oh God, shut up, and then just started watching it, and then right away you're like, why did I resist this? So
I've never watched.
Oh my God, dude, it is assaultively good. It's I've
watched Solar Opposites, which is from the same people.
Yeah.
Who Mary Mack, comedian Mary Mack, friend of Acme in this show, does a voice on, but I've never watched Rick and Morty.
You should watch Rick and Morty. If you like buying dime bags from dudes in Wisconsin and Grateful Dead bars, you'll love Rick and Morty. Yeah, it's got all the stuff you like, like drugs and time travel. It's got all those things.
If you leave here knowing one thing about me, it's me
I
and
like
time
drugs
travel.
and time travel. So, Justin, I understand you like drugs and time travel. Thank you, Byron.
How did you know, Byron? You doing your research,
Yeah.
Byron Allen.
You're gonna kill your wife.
I don't know if anybody caught this last week, but like I said, Ian Bagg was here, and I was telling him about this story about autographs. How Josh Sneed had been here the week before. He collects Star Wars autographs. He's part of a group on Facebook that collects and gets Star Wars people to come and sign autographs.
Sure.
I told a story last week about how I'm part of a group on Facebook that is into autographs and whatnot, and this guy was complaining that the signature from Seth Rogen that he got in his new book, he didn't like Seth Rogen's autograph because it was just like an S. Whatever. So Ian and I are talking about that, and then Ian goes, I don't know who caught this, but I did after I listened back to it. He goes, who collects autographs anyway these days?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, well, me, Josh Sneed, the two people I just talked about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you needed to insult me, but you
but
did just tiny bit.
it's just a moment of pure honesty.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, because the focus changed to this guy bitching about his signature from Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
well, who
right.
collects them anyway?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, I do. Can I have yours, Ian? Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything that you collect, Gareth Reynolds? I just saw a story about a guy who has the largest historic hair collection.
Oh my God! Good God!
Yeah, and he sold
What?
6 locks of Kurt Cobain's hair
Oh my God!
for $14,000.
Oh my God! What? This world, we need
Dollars.
to restart. This is not working out well.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're supposed to say no. Who collects hair? And then I'm like, well,
No,
I
I'd
was
still
the
say
buyer.
It makes
No.
more sense than autographs. No, I'm just kidding. That is disturbing to collect hair, and then disturbing to be like 14 grand. Yeah, I'm in. I don't really think I do. I did for a while try to collect some things, but I just don't think I already have enough clutter that I just don't. One thing I started to do is I had a Travel Channel show, years ago, and I started to keep the hotel keys, and I was sort of doing that for a while. When I was a kid, I collected matchbooks. I would always have matchbooks from places and things like that, and I loved and I did autographs for a while.
Ooh, why?
I don't know. What a waste of a youth.
Sure, nerd.
But. Yeah, as of now, there really is not anything that I actively collect.
You just reminded me that I used to grab whenever I saw one. Not that I traveled a ton, but I would always grab the "Do Not Disturb" sign.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't got one from the Holiday Inn. I haven't got one from the Ramada.
I think
Radisson. I got a new one.
I think in a way maybe that's why I don't do it, because it's just this project you'll never mentally finish. There's
Right.
always going to be a hotel.
Yeah.
There was always going to be a Hard Rock. I loved the Hard Rock. I would collect like little, kitschy things from the Hard Rock too. And then eventually I was like, this is not a life. You're just going to bounce from Hard Rock to Hard Rock. And in my 12-year-old head, I was like, exactly. It's going to be perfect.
I could tell you, if you would like to complete that collection of Hard Rock stuff, head to eBay. The stuff is like worth about $1 to every 10 that was paid for it.
But my thing was, I was like, I'll go to them. But then that's not going to happen. And then that to me would be like being like, I collected them. Like, people would be like, why? I'd be like, now it looks like I went everywhere. But I didn't. Yeah. It's a slippery slope with me, as you can tell.
Oh, I love that. Someone did the math, by the way, on the hair. It's $2,350 per strand of hair.
For God's sake.
Yeah. I could spend $2,000.
You need a time machine. Go back and collect your own.
First of all,
go get some cash out of it.
First of all, hop in that time machine to go back to that hair, by the way. Fun fact, it was from a haircut on the tour of the Bleach album when Nirvana was in Birmingham, England in 1989.
Justin, thank you for trying to do it properly.
I know I didn't, but...
It's better, because they go Birmingham.
Right.
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Along those lines, I know that we talked about it last time we were here, that you spend a lot of time, or you do travel to Australia to perform with the podcast and do live shows and whatnot. And when you guys you and Dave mention cities in Australia, you say them like, you don't say them like I would, like Melbourne, Melbourne.
Oh no, there's like all.
How do you start doing that?
Well, their capital is like totally different than the way it looks. Their capital looks like Canberra, and it's Canberra. And so, like, you know, you're trying to promote it, but you get these complex where I just see that word and I'm like, cranberry. Oh shit, I can't, you know. But then yeah, Melbourne is Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Melbourne.
you just get. You know, it's like when you go to the place, you're like, look, if you need me to say it properly, I will for you, I suppose. But by the way, the spelling is crazy. This is not what you called it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I did when I had the radio job, I remember reading a little tag for a commercial. It was that famous bike race was going on in France.
Yeah.
And I had to read this little tag like tonight, or don't miss it, 3:00 Sunday
Here we
on
go.
Care 11 or whatever. And I said Tour de France.
Oh, that's not that bad.
But I got you're supposed to say Tour de France. I'm like, I don't know. Isn't it gonna sound weirder?
You know what that's like?
If I'm
That's
saying
like,
Tour de France?
Have you ever talked to someone who's gone to Ibiza?
Yes.
Yeah, Ibiza. I'm like, look, okay, you don't live there. Okay?
You need to stop doing that.
You know, it's like your aunt who went to like Mexico. She went to Cabo for a little while. She's like, guacamole? And you're like, no, you asshole.
Chihuahua?
Yeah, Chihuahua. You know, I was in the mountains of Chile. You're just like, no. Yeah. I mean, you got to try, but it's just eventually you just get sick of people being like, you did it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so then you are like, Tour de France.
Like, I'm going to sound like a jerk doing it either way.
Tour de France.
Tour de France?
Tonight you can watch coverage of Tour de France. Yeah.
On Channel 11.
On 11, local news.
Stick around for Seinfeld. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we've done about a half hour. Oh my goodness, we are like almost right on the nuts. I want to
On the nuts.
I want to mention that in hindsight, because I like collecting, because I do like collecting some things,
Yeah.
I wish I didn't look until just a few hours ago. I wish I would have ordered myself the double vinyl version of your album.
Yes.
And got one signed from you, because I really
Well, you
enjoyed
can
collecting
still
this.
do that.
Do you have any here? You didn't bring
No,
any
I
with.
didn't bring any, no.
Yeah. Is that I saw some on eBay. They're all like a UK import. Is that the story behind those?
I have no clue.
You have no clue.
I'm flattered
Yeah.
by the being ripped off. No, that's
They're about
great.
$35 a piece.
Well,
Plus shipping.
Yeah, the truth is that merch stuff is like sometimes people are like $30, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm like not a big merch company. I have a friend of mine who runs the merch for me, and we use like stamps.com and but yeah, no, I honestly don't know the pricing of any of it. That's how on top of my business world I am. I always say it to my tax guy because I've incorporated, and I'm always like, I am the worst president ever. And he's like, we had a worse one. I'm like, no, we didn't. We did not.
Both don't want to talk about their finances.
Yeah, their taxes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm being audited, so just have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You have to accept that.
Yeah, it's a 30 to 50 lifetime year audit. Yeah.
All right, one final thing,
Sure.
because I'm surprised we did talk a little bit Green Bay Packers when you were here last time. I didn't know that you have a Packers tattoo until I listened to your album.
Yep.
Will Aaron Rodgers be the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers?
Yes, I hate to let down the people of Minnesota and the people of Chicago and the people of Detroit who seem to have two teams, their team, and then just wanting the Packers to suck.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers will be back under center for the Green Bay Packers.
You heard it here.
You heard it here.
Okay.
All right. And tune in later for the Tour de France, followed by Seinfeld on Channel 11.
Thank you, Gareth.
Thank you, Justin.